potential. Maybe they've been trying a little bit more out.
Yeah.
You can see something different. But otherwise, what are those normal, like the shamans? The
Lion. He played a lot of Lion.
Oh my
Well,
god.
there's the Oracle.
There's a save.
I wish I said it. It was in my brain. I was thinking, if we're talking about saves, there's like Abaddon obviously, but Oracle is a hero that's gone so ignored for so long, but he's really nice against Warlock because he can dispel the Fatal Bonds and the heals offensively or defensively. It's like really good against these two heroes. Like I really like it. Also like Faceless's bash damage is all magical, so if you W, I don't remember what it's called on Oracle, your ally, they don't take damage from that. It's just really, it's such a nice hero against these two. And you have a lot of offensive capabilities from your Hoodwink and your Marcy already, like the catch from Marcy, the damage from the Hoodwink ult. What they are lacking, of course, here is team fight. Your offlaner is not providing you team fight right now, so from their last pick on RSG of this round, I would like to see something that provides that for them.
What's required in that team fight? Do you feel like something that's going to lock down a little bit more? Something that's...
Yeah. I just want... Because right now, how do they fight into Nigma? They can actually go the complete opposite direction and just try really hard for pickoffs. So take some dumb, stupid, normal hero like Void Spirit and just go around ganking and like play side lanes and stuff with your Hoodwink and your Marcy. Because you go into a fight, what's going to happen? You're going to get Chronoed. You're going to get Warlock Golemed. These are all BKB piercing. On top of that, you have a Mars. Batrider's perfect. Love it. This is really nice. Pickoffs, drag away, like pull someone out of their team. This is what's going to give RSG the advantage with their lineup.
We had a good reaction, gods, to the Zeus coming out of NGX.SEA, if you want to talk about it.
I just think Zeus is a bit underpicked in the SEA region.
I would agree.
All over the place in good old Western and Eastern Europe. This hero, it's being first phased a lot because it's flexible. It goes mid, it goes more so to the support role, but it just packs a punch, and that's something that draft really lacked up until this point, and I think it fills this nice hole of, you know, just somebody to dump damage into a Chronosphere, even if it's not like that, you know, typical combo. It just feels really nice, I think, this game. Although it's a lot of magic damage into Oracle, but I think ultimately you have to pick damage. Like, you're going to have to me, pick some kind of mid laner or pick some hero that jumps this Oracle, because that's the big thing that right now I don't think is being addressed very well.
Yeah, Mars is going to have to be on Oracle duty.
Yeah.
And the Zeus damage is what's going to kill him. I remember watching the last Zeus we played. Don't remember the team, don't remember the player, but he made it really hard for the supports to play, because he would just get all this farm, get the refresher, and then like 2 ults and Nimbuses down the line. The supports are on 1 health. They can't fight. They can't do anything. Like this against RSG would be really good. Oh, they put the meatball. Yeah, it's so sad to see his face in this space.
Not the way you'd like to see it.
Yeah. But yeah, it makes it really hard. Like Hoodwink and Oracle are both extremely squishy support heroes with low health pools, so playing into Zeus is potentially going to be really hard for them.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's not even a core, it's support.
Support. They go back to the Alacrity Ember. I think the good and bad is you get a hero that can jump the Oracle. I think like the Mars being on Oracle duty is great, but you ideally want a second hero. Ember gives you that. The bad is you Ember and Oracle, like Oracle has ways to hurt some of your spells, so it's not necessarily like the dream pick into Oracle. In fact, in the past, often people would look at Oracle and be like, yeah, I want to play Oracle. They picked Ember, let's go Oracle.
This has to be one of the greatest Oracle games of all time, no? You're able to block the damage of every hero. Like, if they try and go on his carry, which they're about to pick, you are protecting him from Faceless Bash damage. You're protecting him from the wall and spear damage from Mars. You're protecting him from everything Zeus does. You're protecting him from everything minus slight that Ember does. Also, quickly, I think Fear was talking about how the Ember versus Batrider matchup is pretty decent for Ember, just because you spam out Slight and you get loads of mana for all your spells to kind of stay in the lane from the one, so it's like good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen Embers mostly winning or at least going even on that lane.
The carry comes out. It is TB. Doesn't go banned this time. I mean, it goes unbanned this time. So I'll let you guys sit with thoughts a little bit longer about this draft as we bring in our actual casters, Mike and John. It is not going to be us, Mike and John. We'll start with you, John. How are you feeling? Any knowledge, wisdom to impart on us with this draft?
Yeah, look, NGX's draft looks really hard to pull off. The team fight ideas are there. You have Fatal Bonds, Thunder God's Wrath sounds good. You don't have too much damage tying into that Chrono. You already have the Oracle counter. It's a tough one for NGX. And I think RSG just managed to get on top once more with the draft. It lines up with their playstyle. If they play aggressively, shut the Void down fast, you know, MKS is going to have a great time building up here.
Yeah, I think RSG just literally needs to win their lanes and they can just run it NGX non-stop. So unless NGX miraculously win these lanes, I don't think they really stand much of a chance here in game 2, to be honest.
Okay, looking to be potentially a 2-0. Are you on the side of RSG Sheep?
I'm on the side of whichever mid laner wins, because this is a terrible Terrorblade game. Into Zeus and like Fatal Bonds and everything. Obviously you have an Oracle though, which is pretty good.
And NGX have crazy teams. I actually quite like. I think both teams have solid draft. I actually think, and this is such an NGX draft. They're gonna, even if things go bad, they'll turtle it up and go late game with some crazy team fight. Like I could see NGX winning this in like 50 minutes or so.
Yeah, if they can kill Oracle, then their team fight should be completely free for Nigma, I think.
All right, well, there's some win conditions for NGX.SEA. We'll see if they're able to capitalize on that as we jump into game 2 with Mike and John.
Oh, thank you so much, Nat. We do get into game number 2 here between RSG and Nigma Galaxy.SEA, and it is MLP johnxfire. Jonathan, the panel seems to have disagreements with us once again, which is definitely great news for us, John. Game number 2, what do you think about their final words there? They think it's a bad TB game. They think the Zeus Void, it's a great combo. What are you thinking?
I mean, it can work, but the conditions for NGX to make their lineup work just feel it's a lot harder than what RSG has to do, right? Like, they just need to play aggressively on RSG's end, secure a little bit of an early start for MKS, allow that build up. You know, get yourself into the point where you get maybe at least a Manta style, probably wanting the BKB this game on the TB, and once you hit that BKB, what do you really do? Like, you can't do much. Chrono can hold him in. You can maybe Golem on top. Will you have enough damage to deal with Terrorblade at that point? It doesn't feel like it. You have the Oracle to save. It just links in easier for RSG. They're not as reliant on 2 massive cooldowns in Chrono and Golem drop from the Warlock. You know, it's such an awkward tempo for NGX. And then having the support duo of Zeus Warlock also isn't the most aggressive. So this means we're going to have to see Alacrity pick up the pace once more from his Ember, Mizu to kick things into gear with his Mars, and if you say have a delayed blink timing on the Mars, it can really start to feel awkward, because at that point RSG, you know, looking at the mid matchup, Exolern versus Ember versus Batrider is a workable lane for Ember, as the panel pointed out, but this is also a lane we've seen Alacrity multiple times before just not have much success in.
Xiao Yu's going to have a run up, but he'll cop the shadow word there from Boom Boys, so we'll make the walk away. I do agree with your points, by the way, John, and I think one extra point to add on to that is you've given these comfort picks again to RSG, like Xiao Yu and Xiao Bon Bon, Hoodwink and Marcy. Like, we know how much these guys love these 2 heroes, and well, Marcy on Xiao Yu, I'd say he's one of the better POS 3 Marcy players we've seen throughout the SEA DPC, and it can be quite busted, as we saw in Game 1. See if they can pull it off in Game 2 once again, as we are going to start off with the top lane here, as you are going to have, of course, Xiao Yu and Xiao Bon Bon against Boom Boy and Dreamer Cell. Jonathan, what are we keeping an eye out for this top lane?
Not much. I mean, you can try to get aggressive early on. Dream Assault's already getting some damage in. Shadow Word is pretty big damage, huh? Xiao Yu has to be a bit cautious. Down the line, this evolves into a more defensive lane for NGX. You've got Time Walk, you've got Shadow Word as healing. The Void can farm up, and as long as you prevent the angles being found by Xiao Yu and Xiao Bon Bon to play with the double stuns, this should be a pretty simplistic lane for Dream Assault. You know, he should farm up, hit his Maelstrom timing or Mask of Madness, depending on what he wants, and just kind of sit in the jungle. So all you really need is for Boomboy to get a little bit of zoning out, and you kind of feel good in this lane.
Let's have a look at the other lanes as well. I mean, you're going to have mid lane, of course, with the Batrider versus Ember Spirit. Now, you and I always like to joke around in this kind of matchup for Alacrity, because we've seen him lose to Batrider mid so many times. And John, even with the Ember, like, Flame Guard's going to do a lot of work, as you're seeing right now. It is still a rather painful experience here for Alacrity, as XE already going to get through the Flame Guard and just force him back. I suppose for Alacrity, as long as he survives the mid matchup, he should be happy.
Yeah, as long as he holds on, starts to hit that level 2 Sleight of Fist, level 2 Flame Guard, you can kind of hold the lane down bot.
Mizu already going down. Very hard against the TB Oracle as well, right? Because you're going to have the Fortune's End into the meta of MKS, and it's a long route. So you get stuck in that as the Mars, and MKS, he's going to have his way with you.
Yeah, I mean, you have great magic damage in this lane for NGX's end. It's a Zeus support with a Mars. You can play around the spear down the line, but it's hard to get that angle. Roger just sits in the tree line, spams Fortune Send, enables MKS to keep that farm game up. And you could maybe try for the spear again, but it's not easy. And you just see JoeCam kind of being held off by the Oracle anyway. So you just get the farm, you can get aggressive once Metamorphosis is up, and in that interim period, it just doesn't feel like it's easy for NGX to work the Zeus. Like, he is pretty annoying if he manages to spam that Lightning Bolt. It just doesn't feel like you get that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes we see the Arc Lightning being maxed out instead of the Lightning Bolt for this kind of reason. See what JoeCam does do is mid lane, the Ember gonna end up dropping, and it's kind of what we just talked about, John. Alacrity, he's gonna have a rough time in this matchup, even with the Flame Guard up, and XE Learn, he knows how to play this Bat Rider very well. Alacrity already off to a pretty terrible start here against the Bat.
And we talked about that momentum from NGX. It does feel like they'll want the Ember and the Mars to be in good position up top, though, getting aggressive.
Absolutely, we'll see what they can get done here as they... Oh, Boomboy getting rather low himself, but RSG, they do back their way out. Fear of the Fatal Bonds, as at least Bon might find the Courier, but actually misses out. Yeah, the old Hoodwink attack animation just taking a bit too long, and well, NGX, they're going to be fine at the top lane for now. And props to them as well. Dreamer Soul, he's having a very good time farming on the Void at the moment, so at least that's a bit of a saving grace right now for NGX.SEA.
Yeah, he's having a much better time right now than MKS is, and there is a little bit of pressure starting to come through. The spear does connect onto Roger here.
Yeah, nice pick up there from Mizu. JoeCam actually the one to take him on the Zeus, but something you desperately kind of need here down in the bot lane, and just leave MKS a little bit more vulnerable on the Terror Blade. Though not so much, I assume, as he should be just fine to keep that farm going. Props to Mizu, though, like, considering he did drop a life here against MKS, he actually has slowed down the farm of the TB quite a bit.
He's managed to at least work that aggression, knowing that when Metamorphosis is down, you can threaten with a spear, you can threaten with a God's Rebuke, and still have a lot of presence there. Still needs to build that momentum, though. I feel like all the other lanes for NGX are still a bit topsy-turvy.
Alacrity. Yeah, this is the most topsy-turvy lane here, John. XE Learn. Gonna find another kill on the Bat Rider as he sees JoeCam on the Zeus, I believe. Might be able to get there in time. In fact, never mind. He'll go chase him again. Only for a second, though, as JoeCam eventually going to back off to the high ground, and XE Learn, I think he's more than happy with the way this mid lane's going, so just doesn't need to overextend for a support Zeus.
He's going to hit some real fast timings here, Mike, on Bat Rider. Going for that quick travels along with a casual windlace just for some move speed. He's going to be able to run down, look for those angles in the ganks very quickly. And again, you don't have a counter to that lasso here from the side of NGX. You could maybe consider, I don't know, I guess Chrono and Arena's sort of soft counters, but it doesn't feel amazing just to suppress the Bat from taking someone away. And you already see Alacrity trying to play the small camp, but he can't even take control there. XE just walks in, clears that out himself. The farm for the Ember is starting to get a bit starved out, and it does feel like the game's starting to get to that point where you expect Mizu with a stronger start, maybe just rush that blink and get some aggression out from there. And going back to Mizu a bit here, Mike, he has gone for the triple bracer. We've seen him do this multiple times on his offlane. I think his Night Stalker is the most notable, where he goes like 5 bracers and just tries to be durable. Namara is certainly going to have a lot of impact with this. We'll see if it does affect his blink timing. You still want that initiation tool on NGX. You don't want to rely too much on that chrono throughout the game, at least early on.
Oh, absolutely not. And so Mizu, he's going a little bit greedy with the bracer build, but we'll see how long it does take him to get the blink up. As now top lane, Xiaoyu, he's going to be okay. They have the Fatal Bonds out, but looks like he is just going to back his way out of the Marcy. Instead, mid lane's probably the one to watch, as we are going to see an Arcane Rune being picked up here by XE Learn of the Bat Rider. Bon already looking around for a nice bushwhack onto Alacrity, but won't have the angle. Keep in mind, XE Learn, he's currently level 7 to the level 5 of Alacrity. So a 2-level advantage here for the Bat Rider, and as long as you can lock the Ember down for a moment, that lasso will be easy to land. Though bot lane now, Mizu going a little bit deep here against MKS. Now the turnaround is out. Mizu still going to be just fine, as MKS now the one to try and back off, though Roger is going to get caught out a little bit. Mizu does have a spear available, but doesn't throw it out quite yet. He will save it for the final bit of damage, as MKS is unable to help out without the meta. And so Mizu at least does secure a kill at the end of the day.
And you are starting to see that gap in the bot and top lane for the safe laners start to grow wider. They catch out Boomboy up top, though.
He was trying to soak XP there as the stacks were being taken, but is going to feed another kill away to the Bat Rider. Though at the very least, he does delay the stacks being taken a slight bit. You are going to have to wait 10 more seconds, though. Bot lane, MKS getting caught by Mizu. Roger going to try and go for a trade, but is not within range to get the false promise off and rather purifying flames off. So Jocam is going to hold him back, and Mizu, he's fine.
That's a shining hope for NGX. They're starting to make this lane pretty unplayable for MKS after a strong start, finding that kill early on. He is lagging severely behind, even in comparison to her Face's Void. So a lot of room has to be cleared out for the Terrorblade. RSG is going to have to try to protect it for a little bit longer, but they're hitting the points here on their other lanes. You've got Excelern with a travel sub. You can just run around, again, threaten with the lasso, immediately pull someone back. It doesn't feel particularly amazing here. Ooh.
Yeah, Lasso is up. Alacrity is at least level 6, so he's going to be able to remnant out, but now he's out of mana. Learn still having a look around for the Ember. Alacrity is going to go for the Remnant TP play out. He'll go for a free reset. We haven't really seen Learn try to rotate yet whatsoever with that Lasso. Has been just kind of focusing in on his own farm, but now with the BOTs up, you might want to try and get aggressive here as Learn. Mind you, I say aggressive, John. He has 3 out of 4 kills for RSG right now, but he certainly is in a very nice power spike to make those rotations.
Yeah, and they have some good aggressive wards here from the side of RSG. They spot out the stacks in the top jungle. So Excelern will just go pick them up, take them away from Alacrity to recover with, take them away from Dreamcell to clear out down the line, and just continue to build up that massive lead. The Batrider gonna have a really quick blink timing on top of that travels. I think that's the point where you really start to play around with that. You want to play with the mobility your Batrider has, along with Morrissey to an extent, and just slow down the side of NGX. You know, just ensure the Void doesn't get the build-up. I mean, Dreamcell still up there, number 2 network, having a better time than MKS for sure, but it's not a massive lead. MKS, despite his stats, is only 300, 200 gold behind. So it's fully recoverable for the TV.
Bit of trouble here on the Zeus, John. They are going to land the Fortune's End, and well, Learn shown up once again. Jocam, he's going to drop to MKS this time around as Learn will just TP right back into the mid lane. Again, you still have that lasso up, and Alacrity, he has to be careful. You've got a Tumbler's Toy and Learn, so start stacking up, but Remnants away. Once again for Alacrity. Learn just not going to bother even trying for the lasso yet.
I don't think there's massive pressure to do so. As long as you're preventing the Ember from working the lane, you feel pretty happy. Alacrity's timings are kind of stalled out. He's forced to just rush a Maelstrom, no time nor farm for the Orb of Corrosion.
Xiao Yu, he got the Unleash off, and it's going to be a nice easy kill onto Boom Boy. There's no way for the +5 Warlock to get away from that, but Xiao Yu now maybe in a bit of trouble as Remus are trying to get the damage out. Time Walk is there, and Xiao Yu, he'll rebound out as well, just in case the Chrono was set to come. As mid lane, well, Learn not going to be able to catch the Ember once again, so Alacrity playing very carefully, but now bot lane, Mizu maybe in a spot of danger as the chase is on. Learn should easily be able to just go for a quick lasso if he wants to, but it seems like he's just going to save it in case Mizu goes for a TP attempt. They just don't need it. This bat is so far ahead right now, they just don't even need to press the R button.
I love that Learn finds the one lane that needs the help. They want to enable MKS. They start to bully out Mizu, so that slower start for MKS completely rectified. Number 2 in net worth. TB's managing to build up ahead of Dreamcell. Faces Void doesn't catch up all too well. I mean, Dreamcell already has the Mask of Madness, still needs the Maelstrom to even clear out some stacks online, if there are any left from RSG invading that top jungle, which there aren't. The top jungle hasn't been stacked up either. The triangle's not been touched. They're forced to kind of group around. They have Arena ready here on Mizu.
Oh, they found MKS. It's a great target, but they've got False Promise available if Roger is within range to get it, and for now he is not, but he will be eventually as MKS still fighting this one out. They're trying to bait the Golem out from Boom Boy, and now the Sunder is there. Mizu, he's going to get caught by the bushwhack of Xiao Bonbon. Eventually they do commit the False Promise, but MKS, he survives. He's very healthy. Maybe they find Xiao Bonbon, but he'll go for a run with the Scurry and might just make it out. The Remnants forward, but a nice Fate's Edict from Roger, blocking all the magic damage away. The chain's out, but now the Sharpshooter. They'll drop the Golem for this. Xiao Bonbon, he's still out of there. They're gonna find Roger. It's not worth the Golem drop, though.
No, definitely not. They might have enough mana for a Thunder God's Wrath. Is that the play Jokam's looking for, immediately TPing home? No, not even gonna pop it. So they only get the one support kill. It costs them some pretty big ults, and we talked about this from NGX's draft, Mike. They have a long cooldown on Chrono, they have a long cooldown on Golem, And when you commit one of those spells, it's an opening for RSG. They can look to run around here.
Alacrity's out of mana, John. Had MKS popped the meta, he probably would have had a kill there. Not out of mana, rather, but out of remnants is what I was meant to say. But Alacrity, he will TP back.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Still, I mean, they are trying to set up for this bottom tier 1 tower as... I mean, another big group up here from the side of NGX.SEA. 4 heroes down at the bot side. Just a question of whether RSG want to try and defend this. The God's Wrath out. They're going to scout out Xiaobon, but he's onto a run again. Mizu going to try for the spear. Barely not connecting is now the Bushwhack and the Sharpshooter. Xiaobon. He's just proving impossible to catch. Really abusing the mobility of the Hoodwink. Though NGX.SEA, they are at least going to find the bottom tier 1 out of this.
Yeah, not the biggest tower to take. It's allowing an opening for RSG to play towards mid. MKS is around with a protection of Roger. Metamorphosis is up, and they apply that pressure. Arena is back up for Mizu, so he could try to make a play here. They're dragging everyone in for this defense.
Oh, spear's wasted. Mizu going to use it on the illusion. He'll be back up in 7 seconds for that spear as they are going to bring the Void in. This could be a great chrono opportunity. Mizu, he's going to find a nice arena. MKS going to need some help right now. They have the False Promise available, but they don't have the Oracle. He's stuck in the chrono. Instead, Lasso is out, but will not drag him out of the chrono either. Mizu's going to be okay, it seems, as XE learn. Cannot trade, at least not for now, but NGX.SEA, they're still going to be able to back off just fine. Nobody being caught out, and a very nice rotation now from the Dire team. That's the what seems to be the first successful team fight for NGX.
And he managed to make it work. Great chrono from Dreamcell to catch the Oracle inside as well, preventing the save. And that's what has to happen almost every chrono. You need to be able to catch the Oracle plus a core to even think about killing off the core. You do have the magic damage on hand that Zeus still has maxed out. Lightning Bolt. So there's still a lot of damage that can come in. Even though your Void isn't that farmed up yet, you can play with your supports here. And RSG does get a bit punished for being out of position. They saw the TPs coming in there, Mike. That was, I think, under vision. They didn't manage to dodge out and declump themselves. I think we were seeing Roger try to go for an early false promise, walked up, doesn't have a range.
Are you not going to be able to get in range for the Dispose either? I think the Void and the Zeus are going to be just fine. The top lane, Alacrity. I'll play around here with MKS. Fortune's then going to hold him down for a moment, but he is just going to remnant back once again. Again, Alacrity's had a very rough laning stage, but he's doing his best to try and make some space here on the map. Trying to get that Maelstrom timing going for the Ember. And well, to be fair, John, he is getting rather close to the Maelstrom now on the Ember, so it's not all doom and gloom here for the Ember Spirit, but it is certainly a much slower process than I'm sure Alacrity would want.
Yeah, it's still slow going, but he is recovering well enough, not too far behind in comparison to RSG, especially after that slower start. NGX did try for a smoke play. RSG is as well lining up here.
They are. Dispose. Is it going to be out? No, it's not in time. However, they've still got Alacrity with MKS chasing him down, but keep in mind there's no meta available right now. Still, Alacrity's in big danger. He's going to drop MKS, trusting the illusions to get the job done. NGX.SEA, they try to rotate to force the fight, but now they might be in danger. XE learns around on the Batrider looking for a lasso target. And NGX.SEA, they are trapped in the northern tree line. So I don't think they can jump this TB. It's just not safe enough.
They need to be able to isolate the Oracle. Roger just staying well far back this time around. And they know that some of the focus is onto the top, so they're starting to apply some pressure onto the mid. Just keeping the lane shoved in and preventing NGX from feeling comfy and farming up. Dreamcell still getting some space out here, but the other cores are kind of tied in just to prevent that aggression. And you have to appreciate that Oracle, like the root coming in, lined up that kill.
Absolutely. Jocam now getting picked off here by Xiaobon. A very nice bushwhack there from the Hoodwink. And so you can see the vision game right now from the side of RSG, though it does get denied off, but Xiaobon trapped in the arena. Basic again going to try and buy him a bit of time as they do have false promise if they want it, but Xiaobon going to go for a run. There's your ulti out now from Roger, but can they actually save him? He'll go for a TP play out, but Dreamcell, where's the bash? There it is. Last hit, he'll get the bash off, and they'll get both supports on the side of RSG.
You're finding some small pickings here on NGX's side. RSG a bit forward with the supports, didn't have the force to back them up this time around, does get punished. You do get a lot of room though. XLR just clears out bot, forces rotations in Chrono though.
Yeah, committed. They've got the Zeus around as well. Dreamcell needing that extra damage, and we'll have it in the end. Great Chrono there by Dreamcell, and for XE Learn, Gives quite a bit of gold away to the enemy pos 1 now.
Yeah, that's a big kill. Dreamcell again lining up for those Chronos. Very well played. We did mention that it's a bit harder to use NGX's draft. They are finding the openings, and they're finding opportunities to take these kills. However, RSG see that opportunity themselves to go for that Roche, knowing the TPs are down, clearing out that mid-tier 1. They have a lot of time to get this done. Of course, you do have the sidekick from Xiaoyu to speed up this process with MKS's Metamorphosis. And without the threat of Chrono, NGX doesn't have a good fight lined up there. They're going to have to commit Golem if they're even aware, and they don't even have the vision to watch that Roche.
Roshan's going to go down for free, it seems. And the only person you can really rely on is the Zeus to pop that ulti and see this happening. But like you mentioned, John, there's really no kind of idea here from NGX.SEA. That'll be a free first Roshan to go the way of RSG now. They might just head straight through mid. In fact, never mind. They want to force a fight onto Alacrity, but he will be able to remnant out just fine here on the Ember. There's still a 2k advantage towards RSG, and NGX.SEA, I suppose they are still kind of playing the late game kind of game here with Dreamercell on the Void. Still a lot more time to go for Dreamercell to be at that stage where he does feel like he could just carry the game for his team, but he's still sticking to the top of the net worth board, so it's still happy days here for Dreamercell.
Yeah, just working the map well. He's been given a lot of space by his team. The only time he shows up is when Chrono's available, and that gives him a lot of time to just kind of play by himself. They almost catch him out. Don't manage to lock him in time. The Ember does buy space.
Nice spear out, Mizu. Even gonna drop the Golem just in case. It's worth it that time around. You get the mid Batrider, and now you have Golem up so you can try to force in the bot tier 2 tower and maybe get a glyph out of this.
Yeah, and they're just forcing this aggression up against the Aegis. They're making RSG think twice about trying to get their own push going up top. They don't fully commit. They see the fortify, they back off, and just get themselves back to forming on Dreamocell. RSG still clumped up around top. Metamorphosis is still about half a minute off for that push, but they are looking to line up and commit here.
They will. TP's up. Arena is still available. They've got the blink up on Mizu for a great setup here on MKS, who is dropping low. Mizu trying to move in with the Sunder. Is there in time? Instead, they'll go after Roger with the Bushwhack. Is going to make it, but not enough time to make it for Roger. So the Sharpshooter is there, but MKS, he's dropping low now. He'll still have the Aegis up. They are not able to snipe. In fact, Zhao Yu going to make the jump in, but there's your Chrono being committed there by Dreamercell. A nice Bushwhack. Zhao Bonbon holding them down, but Zhao Yu is still going to drop as they've got the Aegis down as well. XE Learn trying to go for a lasso out onto one. He'll find Joe Cam. They've got the meta to play with as well. That'll be one down. But Dreamercell, he still wants to keep the fight going. Reflection is there. Mizu not landing the spear on the right target, so Alacrity, he's going to drop it now. Mizu going to get rooted up by Roger. Might just drop here, but the buyback is there. Alacrity, he'll jump back in onto the Terrorblade. They'll get the chains out. MKS still alive. False Promise will heal him up as Dreamercell trying to chase XE Learn, but he's fine as well. Instead, they'll turn onto the TP and get MKS down. But Roger, he's still trying. He does end up going down though, as Mizu might actually drop here to Zhao Bonbon. But NGX.SEA, they will punish. They will take down the Hoodwink. And overall, I believe that was a favorable team fight to go the way of NGX.SEA.
Yeah, they play on the edge on NGX. They're forced to buy back on Alacrity to get the damage out, but they manage to make it work. They isolate, they stagger out the fight, they ensure that RSG doesn't have the good angles they want. And Mizu was a major part of that fight there. He had a great use from his Essence Ring, stalling out the damage from the TB. Your output on the Terrorblade right now isn't particularly amazing. You just turn on the Bulwark, you take away a lot of that DPS from the TB. You have nothing to soften up the Morris quite yet. You know, nothing like a Scotty up yet to really simplify this process. And NGX managed to understand that, work the angle, and just punish. And so they're building up really well. They're holding out. We're starting to approach that point where the Void is going to be a constant threat. Like Dreamocell's just building up massively. He's going to have the Lincolns up for protection from the lasso. Even protection in his own Chrono, right? You're not going to get Fate's Edict up. You're going to have to be conscious about your spell use here on Roger, if he even has the range, as he's still working towards the Aether Lens. And NGX just smoke up again. They have the Golem at the ready for Boomboy. One target out, and they can push an objective.
It could be a big team fight here for NGX.SEA if they can make their way in. Mizu, Arena, Blink is up, but a quick back out here by RSG. Gonna mean they aren't gonna get caught out. Joe Cam even thinking about going for the Thunder God's Wrath here to get the vision, but won't bother. Make the smoke way too obvious. So instead, they'll try to force the fight in the mid lane. Chrono's up in 5 as well, so they've got every spell available for NGX.SEA. It's Mizu. Keep going, trying to find somebody, and they will find Roger. Bait Edict is there immediately to try and keep himself alive. He does have False Promise, but he won't bother popping. Just take the death. With that, NGX.SEA, they'll get some D wards, and they should have a mid-tier 1 tower to go their way.
Not the big kill they were looking for, but still provides them that opportunity to shove in mid. RSG not keen to fight yet. Looks like they will just want to wait more items out. They need MKS to be much more durable than he currently is. Wants that full Scotty before really fully committing. You do have the blink up in Exilern, so you can find the angles with the Bat Rider. It does feel like RSG has decided to take it slower a bit. And 2 supports on bot though.
Try and move in. Bushwhack is there. Alacrity again getting taken out as Zhao Bonbon sets up everything into Mizu. Dreamer's Soul, he's going to show up, and Zhao Yu is going to keep going for the fight. XE learned he has Lasso, but he doesn't have a blink up right now, so Dreamer's Soul, he can keep moving in. He'll rewind back, but MKS, he's going to move in as well. They have the Sunder up if they need it. Mizu, he's going to drop. Dreamer's Soul needs the Chrono, does pop it, but it's too late. He'll try to run now, but XE learned. He's on the chase. He'll get the Lasso off, right into Jokam. They'll go into the Zeus now, but never mind that. Instead, they'll find Boom Boy on the Warlock. In fact, they even found Jokam. Zhao Yu able to get the rebound off to break the gap. That's a full team wipe for RSG. They wanted a Chrono for so long, that team fight, John, but they just could not find the one they wanted.
No, it's so difficult for Dream Assault. The successful Chronos we've seen are either solo Chronos with no one else around, or Chronos with Roger +1. You have to catch the Oracle. If you don't see the Oracle, you cannot use your Chrono well here. And now they're down some pretty big cooldowns for the high ground defense. No Aegis to play with for MKS. Metamorphosis down for quite some time, but there's no threat of Chrono, there's no threat of Golem. There is threat of Arena, and that's about it. And it just doesn't feel enough to find those kills. Forcing out the Fortify could force out the side of RSG. Not really wanting to play against that, but they're buying some good time. They bring the lead back their way here, Mike. 8k up for RSG. MKS top of the network board again, and the Scotty's inching closer and closer here for the Terror Bleed, 1 part away.
That's when things get very scary if you are NGX.SEA. It's always the Eye of Scotty timing here for the TB. The Dream Assault, again, still doing a very good job this game on the Void, but he has gone a bit more of a defensive build with the Lincoln Sphere, and naturally is going to go to the BKB straight after that. So you haven't got the most insane amount of damage in these Chronos yet from our Void. His top lane. Oh, Alacrity, not again. Zhao Bonbon with the smoke, might find him in time, though Zhao Yu not able to dispose, and Zhao Bonbon not able to find the Bushwhack either. Alacrity does get his way out, but it's just been such a rough time for the mid-ember this game, and well, Alacrity, he's just kind of relegated to making space for the team. There's not really much else he can do.
Yeah, just needs to buy time, build up slowly but surely, and maybe hit his Ags timing as well. Once he's got that, you feel pretty good about slipping out from RSG. Their control is a little bit harder to land. Like, we've seen him escape from all these ganks so well, and the Ags is going to complicate that process for RSG. Oh, if he can get the build-up. They're also looking at the build-up here. Oh.
Lasso, they broke the Lincoln Shot. They'll root him down. Dreamer's Cell, he's not going to have the help. They have nothing to drop. Golem was on cooldown. Poor old Boom Boy, he tried upheaval, but he's going to drop. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Zhao Bonbon chasing down Alacrity. He has remnants available, but hasn't thrown it out yet. And there we go. He does get his way out. But they found the Void. They found the Warlock, and RSG, at least luckily for NGX, John, it's not going to be a fast Roshan timer. That's the one positive for this Dire team.
It's a bit longer. I think even if it's a longer timer, they do at least have a little bit more vision by the Roche Pit, so they should be able to fight.
Yeah, one combination from Zhao Yu gets the Zeus down. As Unleash with the sidekick. It's just so much damage, John. It's kind of stupid watching it, honestly.
Yeah, and you have the full basher up for Zhao Yu as well to ensure that these heroes will stay down when he does commit in. NGX, at the least, with the respawns coming up, they will have some good team fight on hand. Chrono and the Golem are ready to go along with the Arena, so they just need to work that angle. But again, RSG's just not been giving too many clear angles. Roger stands all the way back, and they're scouting around with Exilern.
Nice flame break from Exilern, finding him exactly how he wanted him. The Arena Spear is out. Mizu gonna try and turn, but now the Lasso. is there from XE Learn, locking him down with the Starbreaker. Mizu's going to try and BKB and run out of there, but they've got the meta with the Ice Scardy, but Dreamer Cell is going to make the jump in. The time dilation, though, Mizu still trying to run, is eventually going to get dropped by MKS. Can they keep it going? MKS, he does run a little bit low, but you've got the Oracle to heal you up anyway. There's no real reason to back off while the Metamorphosis is going. And so he will stick around. Keep in mind, he also has the Sidekick and the Sunder available. But Dreamer Soul now has Chrono up. So you've got some form of an ulti to play with here for the Void. And it seems like RSG might have actually had enough anyway.
Yeah, they get some good chip damage out. They're not going to force the issue. Dreamer Cell has a good angle here, though. Good flank for the Chrono.
Xiao Bonbon? No, he'll go for Xiao Yu instead. Try for the Marcy. So there's your Unleash committed now. They do chain him up. Xiao Yu still has a BKB available if he needs to. Instead, he'll just rebound out as they just can't lock him down. This is kind of going back to the draft as well, right? Because you've got Warlock Zeus supports. So unless you have a Mars initiation or a proper Ember initiation, chances are you aren't killing anyone.
No, I mean, you're not going to commit Golem for a support. We saw that earlier because they didn't have any other opportunities, but you need to hold on to that now for the bigger team fights, and they're just not finding it. Again, RSG's done a great job here, Mike, of just declumping, not giving those opportunities for clean chronos. They're being very disciplined with how they hold themselves here, how they position themselves, especially in the supports, and they're just clearing out the objectives. Roshan, in about 5 seconds, it will be back up. RSG has a clear objective for the high ground push afterwards.
Go Cam.
Although,
just look at this, John. Xiao Yu's having the time of his life. Doesn't really matter if the Zeus has Heavenly Jump to be a bit more mobile. Xiao Yu easily catching him out. They might just go high ground again. I mean, why the hell not?
yeah, it's still risky with a Chrono and Golem, but you're lacking a lot of that magic damage now.
On top lane, Lasso's there. Onto the Mars once again. Mizu's just going to drop. They do find the tier 3 mid tower, but they're going to go up top instead. Try to focus the top lane. Keep in mind, Metamorphosis is up in 15 seconds from now.
Oh
Xiao
my God.
Yu, nice dispose. And look at the damage. It's just sickening.
Jeez. It is. These software supports, Mike, don't enjoy playing against the Marcy. Very easy to focus down. Not much counterplay they can really do. Again, just down to the draft, down to the nature of Zeus and Warlock as supports. Not too much counterplay, really, unless you drop the Chrono. In and out they go. Chrono still at the ready here if they want to try.
It's like you said earlier, John. You need to catch the Oracle. If you can't catch the Oracle in that Chrono, there's just no point. In fact, dispose out again into the Bushwhack. Alacrity's just going to drop. And poor old Dreamer Soul, he doesn't know what he can do about it. Because again, you just can't Chrono. You can't commit it right now.
Nah, you don't have an angle. He needs to find a backline. He has no approach angle at all. And it just allows RSG to run. Look, they just smoke up in the back. They're being sneaky.
No. Mizu dispose again with the unleashed damage. My God, Mizu, he'll hold the shield up. He does at least get out of the arena. They even pop the Alacrity buyback, but can they get a kill for themselves? MKS, he's wasted Sunder. Maybe they can, but no, the false promise is going to be there. So MKS might die through it as now the Chrono has been committed. They'll find Roger, but the Bushwhack is out from Xiao Bonbon. Have they found him? MKS, he is still fighting, still trying, but eventually does go down. A nice pickup by NGX.SEA. They'll try for a bit more now. Onto Xiao Yu they go. Xiao Bonbon trying to help out. Does force them to back off with the threat of the Bushwhack. But NGX.SEA, they do at least hold the mid-melee barracks. And they've got their bot racks to go. So game's not anywhere near over. But they are 16k behind in terms of net worth.
Yeah, see, this is where the lineup of NGX can shine, though. They hit the point where they've got Zeus eggs here, Mike. They can stall pretty good. Their high ground fight is good if they can find the angle, and they've got the opportunity for Roche. Yeah, XLearn will be able to scout around. Still has the Blink BKB to play with Lasso, so it might not be the safest Roche, especially since you don't have the Golem and Chrono, and will force NGX to play it safe, but they will go for a smoke play here. They want that Roshan bad.
I mean, it's 20 seconds without the Terrorblade right now, John, so it's a great time to try and jump XE Learn here on the Bat Rider. He does back off at the right moment. If they can make it to the high ground, it'd be great, but wards are down. XE Learn still getting caught out with the spear from Mizu. Eventually she'll drop, but a nice BKB 4-staff away is going to be enough to get out. And now Xiao Yu, he's trying to force a fight. A 3-man Bushwhack from Xiao Bonbon. Oh, he locks all of them down. They can't get a kill. Dreamer Cell still trying. They don't have an angle, and now the Bushwhack. Xiao Pog Pog is at it again on the hoodwink. They found the Zeus, Joe Cam. He's gonna drop. Roshan's open once again to RSG. And they've got Metamorphosis up in 10 seconds, but they want the fight. They found Alacrity again. Zhao Yu. Zhao Bon Bon. It's all about the Zhaos here, John, as Randy. He's gonna try and run. Time walk away. XE learn on the chase. He'll rewind. They don't kill Randy. He kills himself here, John. He'll do it himself. He's going to stand his ground. This game's over, I think, though. I don't think they'll call it yet, but you give up this next Roshan, it's going to be a very challenging high ground defense to come.
Oh, yeah. No Chrono, no Golem drop at the ready for the high ground. It's going to be a tough one to hold. At least the Golem's going to be up in 20 seconds. You could try to make plays around that. You got to appreciate, even on an individual skill level, how well RSG's playing. You saw Xiao Yu jump in, 3-man, 1 versus 3 fight. He dodges out the spear, he dances around them, and they couldn't handle him. Like, just with a BKB, he lasts for long enough, and then he just sidesteps an almost melee range spear. How do you do that? It's just maddening how well Xiao Yu's playing here.
Oh, everyone on RSG are playing very well here, John. It's hard to pick a real MVP this game number 2. That's for sure. Like, I'm currently leaning towards Zhao Bon Bon or the Batrider XE Learn, quite frankly. But like you mentioned, Zhao Yu, he's been a real menace this game as well, setting up everything for the team. It's all about the Zhao for RSG. Apparently, is NGX.SEA. Well, they're going to try and defend that final lane of barracks. It's just so tough as now the dispose is there again from Xiao Yu onto Jokam. He's haunting this Zeus. He's haunting him. Mizu's going to BKB and run, but the bot Rax is just going to drop for free. They have Chrono up. They're going to try and use it, I think, as Dreamer Cell. He jumps in, but it's only a time dilation. MKS has the double damage going, though. Hands up. Age is still up as well. NGX. I don't know how they played this one. Lasso's there. XE learns in. Golem's going to be dropped. Maybe they try with the Chrono now. Arena dropped as well. MKS, he should drop the first life and does. Meanwhile, where's this Chrono? Dream Missile, he's waiting. As XE learn does go down, but Zhao Yu back in onto Jokam again. Save the Zeus for God's sakes. Zhao Yu, he'll jump out of there. He'll leave MKS alone. But MKS, he's the one on the run now as Zhao Yu does drop to Alacrity. Maybe they can clean up on NGX.SEA. They're trying. MKS, he's the big target, but he has Sunder up here, John. He'll commit it onto Mizu as Dream Missile still chasing, has Chrono if he does need it, but he probably doesn't. MKS should go down this time around as Dream Missile still going after him, but they've got the TP trapped up. They'll clean up here in GXE. Only problem is now they are up against Megas. So how do you come back from this?
Well, you know, it's Zeus, it's Faces Void, it's Ember. They have wave clear with these heroes. They can hold high ground. They can force these fights. It is still a tough game. Oh?
Look at this, John. Zhao Bon Bon. Is he about to do something very pog? He doesn't have sharpshooter, John.
Detection.
You can...
No detection.
Well, they have a Zeus, John. They have a Zeus.
They don't know. They're not just going to randomly zap there. They have no idea he's there. He just stands there. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, they give it the Chrono. All right. I mean, it's something, I guess. Chrono, it's down for another 2 minutes, though.
It's a pretty long cooldown now. You don't have the Ags upgrade pad to lower it, so it is some time without team fight. And it's a lot of time where RSG is lacking a few heroes here for the defense. Might have to surrender a tier 2. I don't see high ground really coming out here, and they at least have Excellent to try to make some plays. Aeon Disc off cooldown could try to be aggressive. NGXO respects the respawns, do back off. They know they're still in a very tight spot in this game. Everything gone from their high ground except the tier 4s, and just hanging on up against the mega creeps. RSG still in a really strong position, but do have to respect that team fight here.
Oh, he's got the Fey Grenade to keep the vision up. Remiso, he does actually avoid that Fey Grenade. So Lincoln's is broken, and that was actually Lasso breaking the Lincolns. I don't think Exilon realized that with the Time Walk, it does displace the Fey Grenade, so it doesn't break the Lincolns. Still jump in. Zhao Yu, he'll try, but he's been stunned up. False Promise, though, will give him another chance of life, so they do move in onto Dreamer Cell. They've got the Void locked down. He's down with that buyback. And the problem is, John, you know Chrono's down. RSG, they know they have the freest team fight they've ever had. So they'll go in onto the Mars now. No escaping from Mizu, surely. They've got the Fake Grenade vision. That'll be another. Is there going to be a GG call coming? Surely.
Yeah, I don't see how you hold without the Chrono, without the Golem. You can buy back on Mars. You can maybe try to make a play. No arena for a minute, though. Mizu can't do much. Maybe a good spear back, but it's asking a lot from the Ember and Mars to hold on here.
Dire's middle tower
Here we
is
go.
under attack.
T4 Tower, Xiaoyu again setting up on the Marcy. And, oh, Mizu. They've called, they've had enough. John, I think the lesson learned here against RSG is don't give them these comfort picks, especially this Marcy. It's just too strong, and Xiaoyu, he plays it too well. It's not fair watching these kind of games with Xiaoyu playing Marcy.
Yeah, I mean, you pointed out, right, all the Xiao boys. I think it's more of all the X boys. You know, Excellent doesn't have a Xiao in there. So the X factor was there for RSG. NGX had an idea, right? They went for Faceless Void and Warlock, a very defensive lane, something that can hold up against that early aggression. And we did see Dream Myself kind of have a better lane. We saw Mizu sort of shut down MKS early. The major issue was that mid lane. And I know we kind of joked about it, right? We've seen Alacrity play against Fat Redder multiple times. The Ember matchup was better because we used to see Alacrity do like Void Spirit versus Ember, which was nightmarish. He had a better time here. It's still not a great time. We saw him stalled out. We saw him push the jungle, and we saw the solo kills from XLR just come in, and slowing that momentum from mid meant that your early to mid game tempo from that Ember getting a good start was thrown off. Right? Like Mizu was finding early kills, but not fast enough where he had an early blink because he went triple bracer. So that also kind of slowed down your blink timing for initiation, and it just kind of threw that tempo off. They still found some good opportunities, but it all boiled down to how difficult it was to get those good chronos, get good use from your golems here.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that, though, Jonathan. Is, you know, some people that didn't agree with us with a panel before we went into that game number 2. So let's head off to a very short break and let's see what our panel has to say about this game number 2.
A nice divisive game from RSG means they do take this series 2-0, which also means Mike once again proving why he is the prediction god. Absolutely never gets anything wrong at all. This whole DPC, this man has always been correct.
Dude, when I date in the future, I'm going to bring my partner to Mike and be like, trash or not?
Trash or not? I'm like, all right, next one. He's just so good at knowing what's going to happen. He practically knew this game, how it's going to play out to a T. But if you guys did miss any of it, we're going to break it down for you all the way, starting back at the lanes. You guys said in the drafting phase, the one that we're going to have to focus on is that mid matchup. How did it end up playing out, though?
Not how we expected. What we've seen as of late is that people have been playing Ember into the Batrider. It's considered maybe not like a full counter pick, but generally the Ember does well in lane. You're not meant to die. You're meant to slide spam, and it causes Batrider problems. But XLR just won his lane. He outplayed. And getting 2 solo kills, I think, in like the first 5 or 6 minutes meant this game didn't play out, I think, the way it was supposed to in some ways. Not just in terms of the outcome, but just in terms... Like, that just has this ripple effect where suddenly, like, the way the side lanes go gets affected by it because this Ember has to farm to catch up rather than be active on the map.
Yeah, we've been seeing in this highlight reel, you know, quite a few team fights. Even though that one there looked to be somewhat in favor of NGX, a lot of them were just going in the way of RSG. They were able to snowball and not give away too much for this. But what was the big key contributor to that, Sheep?
Yeah, oh god, I mean, it was
so much.
It was so much, yeah. RSG just, obviously they got ahead in items eventually, and it just became really hard because like the Terrorblade starts itemizing towards a butterfly, Faceless Void can't afford an MKB, Batrider gets his E on disc, and then he doesn't die in the Chronosphere anymore. Marcy's got an Assault Cura, so she's super immune to a lot of the physical damage, and she gets a bash for like her last build. And they're just, I don't know, there's a lot of people to control, and it's very difficult. There was like a fight where Faceless Void Chronos Xiaoyu's Marcy, but Terrorblade is meta right outside it, and he just clicks the Faceless down and forces him to like back off out of his own Chrono. We just saw it in the clip. It felt like they weren't ever coordinated with their spells enough. Okay. And they just kept getting picked off.
Yeah, because they had the heroes and draft to me to win team fights. I don't think this was an outdraft at all. I think we got, like, for me, got to the end of the draft, like, you know, their draft is fine. I think both teams have a solid draft, and this is the kind of draft that NGX would usually win games with, but they're just not playing very well as a team individually, like we talked about the mid lane, but I also think Mizu's been in really bad form lately. I just think this is NGX kind of reaching a low point. Like, they've, you know, they climbed their way up through Division 2, they had a kind of so-so Division 1, but now, to me, this is like this is the weakest NGX has looked in a long, long time.
Yeah, you talked about those chronos not necessarily hitting the heroes it always needed to. There were still some decent ones, but they weren't really able to transition this into a lead for themselves that they could really capitalize on. Do you think that was just down to the later team fights, the itemizing, or was there more to why NGX couldn't really create space for themselves?
There's a lot of pickups.
You're both just looking at each other.
I thought,
Look,
I mean, so you have these. I guess one of the things I think to really praise RSG is that they lose a fight and they were just okay. Let's go try again. Like it was the kind of fearless approach to Dota that the NGX coach X Freedom talked about in the kind of pre-match interview. It's like RSG are just gonna keep fighting, keep playing fearlessly. Like they're hungry for these wins. They're playing to win. Like often, I think the story of teams competing at TI is the teams who play not to lose. Those teams don't go as far. It's the teams who are just fearless and say, screw it, the OG style, where it's like, you know, we're going to take some chances, make some throwaway plays, but we're going to play to win. And that's why I feel like RSC have done better than anything.
That's true. That was nearly the downfall a little bit because it felt like they just kept, on Nigma side, they kept getting picked off so much, just chain feeding. The only time RSG actually came together to give them the team fights they wanted was when they were grouping to push high ground. Yeah. Like we saw them lose a couple of fights, like trying to do that, and that was like the only good moments it felt like for Nigma.
Well, I mean, it's silver lining for NGX.SEA there, but unfortunately they don't win this series. It is RSG who picks up the win, which means we get a winner's interview with one of their players. It is going to be Zhao Bonbon joining us. Zhao Bonbon, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the win. How is it down there in RSG, and does the message on the whiteboard help motivate you guys?
It's really good. Can you repeat the question again?
Does the message on the whiteboard behind you there help motivate you?
Yeah. It's really much so much funny thing on the board.
Well, we love it. We love reading it when we see your player cams. But for you guys, why was there so much priority on Warlock? Why do you feel that hero is so important right now?
It's really good because the important strong skill is Fireball and the Golem, so they can handle the team fight so much, the Warlock.
Okay.
After Zhao used performance on Marcy, you're going to have to erase some things from the board. I believe it said he was washed up.
No, it's just a joke.
Serious question. I was curious. You guys are in a boot camp and seem to be like taking a really strict training schedule. Are there other teams from either your own region or other regions that you watch to try and get like new ideas or to learn? Like, I'm just curious, like which teams and regions you're watching to get better at Dota.
I think China team maybe. Try to screen with the China, also the tournament also.
Okay.
Jabamon, you are like the only player in C picking Dark Willow. Why do you like the hero so much?
I think because the Dark Willow is a good hero to handle the Spirit hero. I think the Ember, the Void, so good.
Oh, okay. Last question before we do let you go, though, is your last two opponents are Boom and Talon. Do you feel that one opponent is going to be more difficult for you?
I think must be Boomba. I think so. Boom.
Okay. Well, why do you feel they're going to be the difficult opponent for you?
I think they a strong team with a lot of experience. Also, that team, their personal skill also strong. I think so.
All right, well, I look forward to when you guys do eventually match up, but thank you so much again, Zhao Bonbon, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
He's just all in there. He's like, it's just good. I mean, I never even thought about Dark Willow up against the Spirits there, but he's leaked that info for us. We now know.
We know, ban it.
We know, ban it. Ban it all.
We
will jump to standings very soon, but before we do, okay, just kidding, we're going to do it right now. But I'm also going to ask this question. Do you think Marcy actually needs to be banned up against RSG in the future series? Is that something a lot of people should look and cast their eyes towards?
I think if Phil was here, he would say that she is exploitable. And if she's getting first phase, then there should probably be more focus put on countering her or giving yourselves good matchups. Yeah.
And Boom's the kind of team that like are happy. Like to me, they're less afraid maybe.
Okay.
But we'll see. They play this week, so that'll be a fun little test to see.
Yay!
It will be interesting because RSG out there now on top with the 4 wins. Boom, only having played 3 series, but still having lost 1. So there's potential for Boom to get closer to the top of the ladder when they do play, not only later this week, but after this break too. We do have that series coming up. It is going to be Boom and Polaris. So middle of the ladder right now, up against bottom of the ladder. It's going to be interesting. That game doesn't start for a little while. We are still going to head to a break, but when we do come back, there is going to be some content for you guys, so you don't have to just stare at a countdown this whole time. But yeah. We'll see
Ask
you guys.
DPC?
Ask DPC. Yeah, hashtag Ask DPC.
Same question,
God,
Jim.
he's so good. Do you want to be host? Do you want to be?
I don't.
No, you don't want to send
Please.
us to break?
No.
Okay, well, hashtag Ask DPC if you guys do want to be featured in the filler content while we do wait for the second series. But for now, we're going to head to a break. Well, like I said, we do have a little bit of time to kill before we do see Boom up against Polaris. So instead of that countdown, you're going to get some really juicy, interesting content. And the first piece of content is going to be me asking these guys, if you guys were a Dota hero in real life, what would it be?
Nature's prophet.
Cool, I don't care for the reason.
Okay.
Meepo.
Cool. I will let you guys explain why after we hear from the players which Dota hero they would be in real life.